It has been a long time since I've done a recording. My apologies for that. I've been going through a lot of stuff. Some of you are aware of the situation I went through. But obviously, I'm trying to get back into it more towards the end of this year. And then going into 2026, I'm looking to get, really hardcore with trading again and all the activities so we can make the most profitable traders ever. We're going to try our level best. Yeah. I have a lot of faith in this new product, which I was able to sort out within the last 2 to 3 weeks. The update for Neo. Some people might be thinking, "Oh, are you just releasing a new product and another new one and another one?" No. If you'd pay attention to this product, a lot of the elements of this are within the Neo trading suite. You could just message me if you're interested in getting access to this indicator, and we can speak further. I won't go too much into that, but yes, this is basically all the elements from all of the Neo trading suite put together into one. And obviously, I've taken out the best parts, I believe, that have seen me the most profits over the course of time. So, yeah, I just want to go straight into the get-go of this whole situation. You're gonna absolutely love it, and definitely there could be more tweaks to this. Nothing new that's gonna just be updated to it, as in new parts, so you're getting confused. No, nothing like that. Just tweaks so we can increase the win rate of what we already have, basically. So, I think to start off the beginning of all of this, the best thing we have here is the Confluence tab. And one thing I've noticed in teaching people how to trade and obviously putting together indicators or anything to do with trading for, from a mentor point of view. One trouble I've had is trying to teach people strategies. What it is that obviously when you're trying to teach people strategies, you're going to view the market in one way, and it takes a person with a lot of time, I would say, in order for them to view the market the same exact way as you view it. So even though we're trading the exact same strategy, results may vary. So I could have better results than them because they're maybe just missing certain points or not being able to react to the market as quick as I would be able to. And when I say that, it's just in terms of understanding a strategy. So what I've done with this indicator, it was the last part of the update I've done, is I added a Confluence tab. So there literally will be the most minimalistic versions of me teaching you any strategies to do with trading this product. It's most of the time, it's literally just going to be based on us waiting for the Confluence tab to appear. And then when the Confluence tabs appears, then we're just being able to import where our stop loss, take profit, and all that type of stuff is. Um, so it's great. There is two other elements that I do want to add. One of them I couldn't actually get coded in here for some reason. It was just acting up, but maybe I'll get that sorted down the line. Nothing too crazy. It was just pivot points, literally. Just say it clear as day. It was pivot points. And another one, which I don't want to really go into too much in this Zoom call. This one's good because this is an open Zoom call. I want to make it specifically for the users because if they believe in what I'm doing, they should obviously get the best of my works. No, it's not gatekeeping, it's already out there for everyone to use and everything like that. But the way I use it is how I want to explain it to the VIPs. I'll do that obviously in a separate Zoom call. Again, it's lifetime access. I'm going to be doing these Zoom calls over time, so you have nothing to worry about. And that one's really to give us those pinpointed entries that we can look for. Even when a setup appears, even though you can use it by itself, I just love the fact of what I found out with this one whilst I was coding this indicator. And obviously, it was a few months before, but it's just I've just got better with it. That's the last piece of kit. That kit you can't actually code into the indicator, as far as I'm aware, because it's a trading view specific tool, but it is free. So that's great. But we'll get into that one on another video. For now, let's just get into the product itself. So what we do have with this product here, let's go through the settings. I think that will start us off better. We have the strategy selection mode, which lets us for now choose between an aggressive mode and a medium mode. And then there was going to be a basically a conservative mode, which is for people that want to be a bit more conservative, that don't have too much time to check the charts. I personally prefer the medium mode, sorry, because as a lot of people have probably seen in the VIP or how I've spoke about in the groups, is inverted fair value gaps is really the point what I've seen in the market that gives you a good opportunity to catch the market when it goes to a high point or a low point and then it reverses. It will create one of these and it gives you a good opportunity to think of it like a break of structure. So it's the fair value gap version of a break of structure. It's when fair value gaps are formed, but then price decides to break that fair value gap, and that's what you call an inverted. So it's an inversion fair value gap. And I really love the idea of them and the concept of all of it when it's put together. So that is the mode I use. And I think it's great, just like that. Then you've also got the aggressive mode as well, which is the break of structure table. So both of these, which is fantastic, I feel like I even outdid myself. Once I coded it, basically, once you click on these two modes, it actually updates and changes the table. So I can literally put any type of coding into either the break of structure version of the table, and if you click that, it will change the table for anything the break of structure has. And then I can click it to I, IFVG mode, and then it will change the table into whatever the IFVG has. So that's something fantastic. The option of us to have this, it could be pretty much endless with that. Whilst I created this though, that's why I also went into the strategy tab, because I was like pinpointing parts, and I was like, it makes more sense if people just have everything that lines up regardless of what mode you're on. It's basically telling you, hey, boom, this is a good or a bad trade. IFVG setting. So now we've got the settings for the IFVG. So you can obviously show the different amounts of IFVGs you want on your chart. You can lower it to put the last one there. So you can see now it's only just showing us the last IFVG. So that clears up clutter. I like to be able to see my IFVGs as well personally. So I keep them like that. You've got signal preference. I always keep it on close. I never do it on the wick. The close means if the candle closes through the IFVG, then it will appear as an sorry, if the candle closes through where the fair value gap is, that's when an IFVG will form, or you could do the wick. So like this little bit, or let's, I'm trying to find another one that might make sense. There's sometimes it wicks through like this, and that would be like an IFVG being formed. That one kind of gives you a more aggressive version of them being formed, because sometimes they do wick through, especially when you look at daily ones. It's kind of amazing. They'll wick through, pretend to create it, then pull back in maybe New York session. But by the next day, because they've left a massive daily wick, they will now go and create, they will actually close a full body candle through an IFVG. So like this. So imagine this was the wick here. Let's just talk about it. So imagine this was the wick here. And then by the next day, they'll now create the candle to actually close and create it. But I prefer the close because, it just gives us a more solid idea that they've made a definite decision to go that way. But yeah, the wick version would be a more aggressive entry. I keep it on close. I always leave the multiplier on zero. When you leave the ATR multiplier on zero, that means that the amount of IFVGs that it detects in terms of the width of the IFVG. So obviously you can see this IFVG width. So it's not as thick as this one here or this one here and this one here. All three of these are different sizes. So the higher you put this, the less smaller, let's just say the smaller IFVGs won't appear, only the bigger ones. And obviously the bigger the IFVG, that means there was a massive order flow shift and change in the market compared to a smaller one. But I just leave it on zero because I like to see all of them. As you can see, even just without anything else and just the IFVGs, you can see our price broke, create this IFVG. And ideally, this would have been a perfect entry from here, this retest here of this sell, you see. So but if you made this higher, this wouldn't be there, basically, is what I'm trying to tell you. So there's the IFVGs. Then you've got the overlapping ones as well. So if you switch this off, it will remove more of the IFVGs as well. Sometimes IFVGs can overlap each other, so you can have a buy and a sell in the same place. So this basically removes that if you have it, but I allow it because I like to see what's happening. And then now, which is great, I struggled with this when I made Neo the Oracle, trying to make the IFVGs multi-time frame, but now I've managed to get it perfectly. So we can literally show higher time frame IFVGs, nice, clear, and concise on the chart. So you can see here's a daily IFVG, and there's ones here. You can also move around the text as well. So you can move around. If it ever gets clogged together, you can like center the text if you want to. If you don't want to center, it's just loading out. You could do this, or you can move it to the left if you want to. If it's just in your way, you can actually just move it out of the way. So you can move them like that. You can do all this type of stuff. But I prefer to just keep it on the right. And then what I've noticed is if you just move it top or bottom, it should just kind of clear it up a little bit, some of them. So it's on the top now. Boom, there you go. Now you can see this one here is clear, so we can see what's what. So that's what I just do. So you just move it around. Most of the time I move this around top, center, or bottom. Whenever they might overlap the text if I need to see what it is. Boom, boom, boom. Also, whilst I'm going through this, you can see the settings I've got. So this video is going to be uploaded to YouTube, but you can see the settings as well. I'm just going through it so nobody has to ask me questions. What is what? I might as well just make it one big video for everyone to know. There's not much of a strategy I have to break down because again, it literally is just giving you the strategy there. So it's better people understand what the indicator does. Obviously, you can move your table around from the left to the right of the screen. You could do that. You can make the size of the table bigger if you want to, or smaller, completely up to you. You can change the colors of the background of the table as well. So you can do all of that stuff. That's all bog standard, normal stuff. No one has to worry about that. I don't have to overly explain color change of a table. Um, you've got the zone setting. So this is now for the support and resistance. So when you go to the break of structure, we can see here in the aggressive mode, yeah. So if we were to go to that one there, I've got two tables. That's why I'm not actually switching it on. I can just go through either or. This shows you where all the breakup structures are. This was like the first indicator I created for Neo is literally here, and you can see it. This is why I said it's got elements of what we've already been trading as well. And this basically is great to show you break and retest in the market because I created a strategy which I explained to people from gold trading of how to spot internal breaks of structure in the market. So there's external market structure, as we know. Most of the time, that's a change of character. But my indicator, which I haven't seen anyone else create, the way I've managed to figure out the candle pattern, I've created something that shows you the internal market structures. So with this internal market structures, if we just switch off the IFVGs, so the chart would just be focused on that for now. I'm going to go back to the settings. Boom. We can see it here. So let's go back to the support and resistance. Show support and resistance. Oops, let's keep that on. Boom. And you can have it as rectangles or you can have it as lines on the chart. It's up to you. So if you want it as lines, then it's a lot more cleaner, as you can see. Also, you can lower the amount that appear. I usually like to have around about two or three. So there's not too many. I don't like, as you can see, it looks it looks way more cleaner like that. And if I was just to do this, switch on the zones, now you can see. So we can literally see the market broke here, tried to retest here, but it failed here basically. So if AU is going to buy, just based on this part of the indicator, again, just showing you. Oops, where are we? Yeah, you can literally see AU doing this, pull up, pull back to this zone, and then continue. It's that simple because that's showing you a break of structure area, literally. So when it breaks this zone, it will turn bullish, and this will change from bearish BOS4, it will turn to bullish BOS1 once it breaks this area and closes through here. My candles have color coded bars at the moment, so it's based on another part of the indicator. But this is not the real colors of the candles, by the way. It's the indicator that's changed it green a lot and then gray a lot as well. We'll go through that. So this one here, but we'll go to the settings. All right, cool. Where are we? Boom, 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 boom. Let's go back to the settings. Cool. So yeah, that's a support and resistance, just so you can see it. Some of these settings might not work. I might need to fix them, like the zone transparency. I don't think that works, but this does work. You can obviously move the zones when they appear for the support and resistance. The break of structure areas, you can move it to you can have it extended all the way to the right or to the left or both directions. So it goes between both directions, completely up to you. You can change the time frame here. This might be a bit buggy, but you don't have to worry about that anyway because we've already got it here. But even if this is buggy, any part of this I can easily fix it. It's not a major thing. It's nothing that's stopping us from using the product. These are all options I can just update, tweak, and then literally just tell you guys to update the product. Remember, it's lifetime access, so you don't have to stress. TP settings. Yeah, so this is very cool. And I did find I was having a lot of fun when it was working, the coding I was doing for this. So I was able to segment the TP settings. So we've got TP settings for aggressive mode, and we've got it for medium mode. And obviously, every time the table's changed, it's for whichever one you pick. And you can basically change your risk to reward. So you can make your risk to reward bigger, and it will automatically calculate the values of where that bigger level of your take profit would be. So usually it's set up on a 1R, 2R, 3R. So if you had, let's say, we'll go through this table now because we might as well. So I'm just gonna do this for you guys and girls. Give me a second. Give me a second. Boom. Let's do this. So it's better for us. Go to the table. When you're using it, obviously you can make it bigger or smaller, but because I'm doing the Zoom call with you now, we're going to make it bigger just so everyone can see it clear as day and what's in the table. I'm sure that's a lot more clearer for people that will probably squint in their eyes. Yeah? Is it more clear for you now, the table? Okay. So yeah, here we can see. So boom. So what the TP mode, again, the TP mode is to change these. So you can change them to let's go here. You can change them to what are we in the media mode? Cool. So you can change the TP so it reflects higher time frames as well. So even if you enter based on the chart time frame, so that's whatever chart time frame you're on. I'm obviously always on the 4 hour, like 95% of the time. Yeah. Literally, this is showing us when it gives us any of these breakout entry, retest entry, or best entry. Yeah, the stop loss is also worked out on those values. So from wherever the entry is, that's where it's going to put the stop loss as well above like an IFVG basically. So usually if you're trading FVGs, you'll put your stop loss at the bottom of the FVG or the breakout candle. Some people do, but this one does it at the top or the bottom of the IFVG based on a buy or a sell IFVG. And then you've got the retest level, which goes to the middle line of the IFVG. So in the IFVG, there's always a middle line. Like if you draw a rectangle box, there's always a middle line. That's where the retest entries will be based on. You're also getting three of them. So I'm going to say it slowly. You're getting three values here for each one of these because one is for the chart time frame, one is for whatever the daily one is. Obviously, you can change these time frames if you want as well. It's all there. We'll go into the settings further down though. And then one's for the weekly time frame. So you could literally, if you were wanted to, you could say, I'm going to enter when a trade appears. Let's just say this was your trade setup, this D trade. I'm going to enter now with this entry. Yeah. And then from this entry, I want to now use the stop loss because you want it to be a bit more conservative. I'm going to use the stop loss of the daily time frame. I'm going to use the take profit level of risk to reward free, basically. So you can do that. So you can mix and match if you want to, but it is based on the fact from how I created it from the get go. It's based if you use this entry point, you're going to use this take profit level. Sorry, if you use this entry point, you're going to use this stop loss level, and you're going to use any one of these take profit levels because remember it's based on the chart time frame. So if you change the take profit in here to a different time frame, yeah, to the daily, let's say I change my take profit, you see the values would change in a second. These levels, you see they all changed. Boom. So that means that if I'm entering based on a daily chart, so I enter here, my stop loss is on the daily time frame. Again, you can change these time frames to whatever you want. I trade the 4 hour daily and weekly. That's why they're there. So if you enter on the daily, your stop loss is on the daily. Now, because I changed the take profits on mode 2, on medium mode to higher time frame 1, that's my daily time frame. So now it will give me my take profit levels based on the daily time frame as well, and so on. You can do it from the weekly, but hardly any of us enter charts on a weekly chart. I'm very sure not many people enter the trade on a weekly time frame. So I really use it for trend analysis more than entries, obviously. So yeah, that's kind of the idea of that. Does that make sense to you what I've just said there? As in the table. Don't worry about the actual entering a trade yet. I'm trying to break down what the table has. Does it make sense in that point? Just let me know, people. Put in the chat. Anybody else as well, just so there's not one person. If you've got a question, please ask it. If you have a question right now based on what I just explained on the breakout, not on how you enter a trade or do it, no. If you've got a question based on what I've just said about the breakout table, let me know. Really cool idea to use different stop loss and take profits. Yeah, I know. That's why I did it. It just gives you options. So it gives you options as a trader. Do you understand what I'm saying? Rather than just you've literally got three different entries, three different stop losses, and three different take profit level. Obviously, naturally, you'll have 1 to 2 to 3 stop loss take profit levels. But yeah, and remember you can up this as well. So let's just make sure this all goes back. Boom. chart media mode. You can change this as well. So you can literally say, I want a 1 to 6R. So if you change this, what's going on here? What's happening? I don't know. Yeah. So if you say you want 1 to 6R, it's going to change this one to 6R now. Let's give it a second. Okay, you see? So TP3 is now 6R away, and the value changed as well. You see, the value changed basically. I thought you was done. Yeah, the values changed now. Do you understand? So yeah, you can work it out to whatever you want. It's dynamic, flexible. Hopefully in future, I was hoping that it would pop up on the chart as a short and long tool like TradingView have, but for now, that it was just an issue. It was creating too. I spent like 3 days trying to get this idea sorted as the normal short and long tool on the chart. It wasn't working. So obviously people expected the product. I didn't want to waste time. So that's why I put it in the table. But over time I might get rid of this and have a better version of it that appears on the chart, or even not even a better version. It might be a different version. And remember, even if I have a different version, I can actually say you can actually have an option to, if you switch on the different version, it takes this off the table. So that's what I said. We got options here, people. It's lifetime access. Like you need to get all your friends involved in this as well. It's not nothing that I can't update or change. And anybody that's had Neo and TraderView is fully aware of the fact that I update indicators. I never just leave it and that's it for the rest of the time. I always update indicators, but my aim is not to update it to change strategies. My aim is just to tweak it to make it obviously better for all of us or easier to read. Boom. So yeah, that's that version there. So that's the take profit levels. Obviously, you got it for the both mode. Now you got the flash colors here. I think this is pretty cool. This is something that kind of happened by accident. Me working out, so I was entering the code in, and by accident, um, what happened now is that it was supposed to only do the flash color, so it flashes constantly when it's bullish or bearish. But now what we have is we have a duration here, so we can know that once a new bullish IFVG on whatever time frame appears, you can set the amount. So you can set a counter to say, oh, don't flash anymore when it gets to that amount on how long ago it appeared. So now when it appears, if it appeared free, let's say, look, if I do this, look, you'll see if I change this one to 4, this one would come off of being gray now. Long story short. So if we do that and let it load, boom, can you see? So now anything that is not up from 1 to 4, it will not have a flash color. Do you understand? But if I change it back to 5, because it says 5 here, boom. And if I was to change this to 6, when this changes to 6, it will still be flashing. Do you understand? But now because it's on 5, by the time this gets to 6, it's not going to flash no more. Do you understand? So that's really cool because that stops us from just jumping into a trade. Because if it was just bullish or bearish, we would jump into the trade straight away for no reason. But this variation gives us a better point of not having to jump in the trade straight away. You understand? Boom. So now we've got the higher time frames here. Yeah. Which is higher time frames lets us change the time frames to whatever we want. So if I was to change this to like a 2 week chart, this would change to 2 week here and 2 week here. You'll see. So now with us giving us that information, once this changed, now this will be reading information from a different time frame now rather than the same. I just want to see if it did change, if it stayed the same or changed. Let's go here. Let me just change it to monthly and see if it changes the values. Okay, so I can already see one thing there, and that's something that obviously maybe I didn't pick up. The values didn't change there, but that's nothing I can't just again code, fix, and update. I'll more than likely have that updated by today. I just wanted to get it out more today, more this week is just so people can actually purchase it and they can try it out. Like I said, it's lifetime access, so you don't have to stress people. It's not like it's going anywhere. It's literally there. So once you purchase it, you've got it. So I've just got to update that. So the value never changed here. And again, that could literally be something I could probably fix in like 30 minutes, hopefully so. And everyone can just update their indicator. When it comes to the indicators, it will come up here basically. So there'll be like a little blue marker or something that will come up beside your indicator. So if I say I've updated it, you can just click on that marker. It's like a circle marker that comes up on an icon. You can just click on that and it will update your indicator for you. Boom. So yeah, so there's that one. Anyway, but you get the point. It changes the time frame and it will change the values as well. Again, I'm going to sort that out. Maybe when I'm sorting out other coding, it got rid of it for some reason or messed it up somewhere. So that's not a problem. But that's what it does for you anyway. Yeah. But as we can see, the generic values which I use are already there. Let's change this back to where is it? Time frame. Back to the daily. Cool. And you can do the same for the second time frame as well. Let's just see if this one works. I just want to see if, if both of them are doing it. No, this one worked, you see. So I can already see something here because this one changed now. Oh no, this one's already five, but yeah, boom. So this one did work and values did change as well. So obviously I'm just going to check that between the two. It obviously again works on the standard time frames that I've set up, but whatever issues happening is when it changes. So again, I'll check that out. That's no problem. That's the first thing I'll do when I come off the Zoom call. Um, yeah, now we've got the market structure, which is great. So like I've said, let's go here. Let's switch this on first. Enable market structure. Oh yeah, let's switch on everything here. Boom. So with the market structure, you can make how big or small you want the market structure to be. I like to have it on two because I like to see all of the parts of the structure as much as possible. But another generic setting a lot of people have the idea of market structure on is five. And if you have it on five, you'll see it spaces out everything. So it gives you a bit more of a cleaner look on where the market is. And wherever you set that to, whenever price breaks one of these higher lows, lower highs, or lower lows, that's when the trend kicks in. So you can see it broke this area and you can see it turned green for buys. When it broke this low, it turned gray for sells, literally. So this is what I like to call external market structure. So the ones I created for the break of structure is the internal. So you can see the inside of the structure. So the smaller structure. Now, when you want to look for the bigger structure, you can use this one here, which shows you, again, the bigger parts. And for beginners, I think this is really cool because, when anyone's a beginner and they ask me to join trading and what it is, I'm obviously going to teach them first about them learning market structure, higher highs, lower lows, lower highs, and higher lows. But with this indicator, you don't have to stress because it marks it all out for you. So you can see that this was a high and this was a lower high. So if I was to teach anyone straight away, I'd be able to tell them when this happens, you look for continuations of sells because now the market is showing you it's in a downtrend. And when this happens, a lower low and a higher low, then you're looking for indications for buys. Do you understand? So it's a lot easier. So if anyone wants to keep them on, you can just keep them on straight away and market structure. And again, like I said, think of them as change of characters. So it's very good, that whole setup. And I like to just take off the lines because I don't really need the lines. But these lines are also good as well. If you're more of an advanced trader, remember this entry system here is there based for beginner traders. That's why I've set this up. But once you're a bit more of an advanced trader, you know where to place your stop loss because you've been trading for years, probably. Do you understand? Your main thing was probably just finding the better trades. That's what this will help you with. But in terms of risk management and where to place your stop loss and stuff like that and take profits, if you've been trading for long enough, you're just going to be able to not freestyle it, but you're going to be able to know how to do it freehand. Let's call it freehand. Do you understand? Pardon me. And I think these are great areas as well, obviously, because they're clearly structure points. So we always know liquidity is resting at highs and lows. So realistically, if the market should be continuing to move, it shouldn't go no lower than this low. If it's going to keep buying right now, AU, it shouldn't go no lower than this low. You understand? So this is a good place. If it breaks here and let's say it turns green, let's based on this alone, you should be able to enter here and put your stop loss below here and target any of these highs here for liquidity TPs. So you could also use it like that as well. So again, it's more for what you want to be able to use it for. But the main reason why I've got it here is because whenever I'm in a trade, I like to see structure forming. Yeah, it's not that I use this as my get go, but it's nice to just be able to see it. I don't use it even as a confluence. It's just as it stands. No, I don't. And I am going to make this. This was supposed to be used as the third strategy. Remember that, people. So strategy mode, see, there's only two. The third one's going to be based on these. So that would be um the more safer mode because obviously you can clearly see how smooth it looks from the highs and the lows, etc. Stuff like that. So literally, but it's just nice. So let's get into the Confluence tab now. I know that's what everyone's here for. I'm not trying to bore everyone, but there's no point me just showing you strategy and then everyone's going to ask me, how does it work? How does Neo work? What is this? What does this mean? It was better for me to do that so everybody can understand and they can see what's going on. Boom, boom, boom. All right, cool. Um, let's go here. Yep. So we're going to go into replay mode now. So this was a trade setup that I literally gave out to all of my live members. Right now, there is no alerts, I believe, that I'll set up on this. I have to set up alerts. So between fixing this and the next thing I'll do is add alerts as well. So we have alerts for the Confluence tab as well. I'll literally do that. But it's not at a point where you can't use the product. That's why, again, I let everybody have it today, just as promised. Boom. So what we are waiting for, and what I love to see, is the first thing I like to see, regardless of what this is doing, which it is coded into here already. I'm just letting you know so you get the point. I like to see a I've lost my whole word of my whole speech there. I like to see a daily inverted fair value gap. That's what I like to see. So I don't care what's going on. If I don't see a daily inverted fair value gap in terms of the trades I'm taking on prop accounts, in terms of the trades I'm taking where I'm managing people's accounts to do hyper growth. That's another service that I offer. If you're interested, let me know. So I'm trading high risk trades to try and get everybody's account to like 1K, 2K, 5K, and so on, and then we do profit splits between me and the trader. So basically, literally, if I don't see it, I'm not interested in this trade setup. So we're gonna just keep pressing forward until we see our daily bearish or bullish new IFVG. Boom. So we can see here we had a daily bearish IFVG that has just formed. This is giving us a good indication, perfect indication, to tell us that AU has a possibility of a continuation of a sell during this week. So what we're going to do here, yeah, let me just get rid of this one here. Obviously, the trade was already there for everyone to see, but I'm just breaking it down for you, and I'll go through some others. What we're going to do, what we can see now straight away is this. We're just waiting. We're waiting. You're going to be seeing, you can see that C1 has appeared. We're waiting for a possible A grade setup to appear. Literally. 1 second. Yeah, so we're waiting for, so this is a C trade. I'll go into that later. We're waiting for, I like to trade the A plus or A1. Yeah, sorry, A plus or A setup. So we're waiting to see what happens here. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Let's switch on IFVGs again because I'll switch them off. And switch off this. Enable market structure. Yeah, that's fine. Just take off the lines. Boom. I like to see my IFVGs. Yeah, cool. So we're seeing boom, boom, boom. So this trade has not given us an A grade setup at all yet at the moment. Nothing. It only gave us a C. Doesn't mean you couldn't trade it, but remember, obviously, this is the best trades. This is the second best. This is the medium. This is getting like maybe the trade might work, and then this one is like it's not the best, but they can all produce results. Don't get me wrong, but obviously they're going great. So this is the best, and this is it goes from best to worst. But again, they can all produce results literally. And you got to remember, I'm looking at from best to worst on a 4 hour time frame. This worst one, if you were to trade it on a lower time frame, could actually be a good 20 pip trade. But again, I'm not going to explain in this video about lower time frames. I didn't build it for lower time frames. I built what works for me and how it has produced results for me. It doesn't mean it can't be worked on lower time frames. It doesn't mean you can't test it. Doesn't mean I might not make a video about it in future. I'm just explaining that I use the 4 hour as my entry. I don't use no lower. So here we can see that we never got a setup on this trade here for this sell. We just never got one. Never appeared. Even though you can see that price did manage to do a sell. And remember, just even from here, where was it? Let's even see from here. Do, do, do. Yep. So we just never even got a set up. So it didn't even come up. I think there was a C at one point, but it just never came up, even though we got a sell. And everybody can notice and can pay attention to that. I never gave us the entry for this trade in any of my groups because literally before I created this Confluence list, it didn't give me my confluences. So you can already see the indicator is picking up something that I can see and I can be aware of to be able to tell people to be able to basically not give the trade out as a signal. Does that make sense to you guys and girls? What I've just said to you there. Does it make sense? So literally, I did not give the traders a signal because it didn't give me the idea of it. Now, one thing I am doing now, I'm only trading the majors and obviously gold on all of my accounts. I don't trade the minors no more because I just don't like the way they move. I've noticed obviously the majors are major for a reason. They're very liquid, very volatile, and we all know they're majors for a reason. They're the ones that shift the market, the crosses between these pairs. So that's why I trade the majors. So now we go over to Euro USD. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. And we'll go here from the beginning of the week. Boom, boom, boom. People might ask me, but why are you looking at these specific pairs for that reason? When we had the old update of Neo, the one that people are paying monthly for, because that's got 4 indicators. So that's a monthly service, and there's a VIP group for that as well. Yeah. I get all of my alerts for my daily IFVGs that formed here. Now, again, I'm going to try and see if I can put that alert system into here, but the first one is the confluences. If I can't have multiples, then I'm sorry, you might have to get this product, these other products as well, because again, you can't put everything into one indicator, like absolutely everything, because this has already got 1,300 lines of code. This whole indicator I'm showing you here, so there's at a point you got to stop because it just won't run fast. It will be too slow. Yeah, it will literally be too slow. So you have to split them into different indicators. So all right, cool, boom. So again, I've already had it just to show you guys and girls proof of what I'm saying. Why it's no reason. Look here, right here, November the 17th. The other one of the other indicators that Neo has, one of the other ones I've got created. Again, I'm gonna try and put it into here. If I can't, I'm sorry, because the main indicator, the main alert we need is obviously the confluence list. So if I can, I will. If I can't, obviously I'll explain that. But if not, there is still the option to get the other indicators. You just message me and let me know. So anyway, boom. The IFVG status here had changed from bullish to bearish. Yeah, we're gonna see that play out as well on this chart. We're gonna see it. Boom. So you can see. So from Tuesday, I started telling people in the hyper growth group, the group where I'm trading people's accounts and I'm trying to turn the money from small money, $100 into like, unless we're going from 100 to like 500, then to 1,000. We're going to see how it is during the course of time. We're going to make withdrawals from the account, but obviously we're trying to make these accounts grow. So I've literally seen this and I've given out this idea that look, I'm going to be looking at EU sales because I had the alert and it appeared for possible sells. And obviously we had AU as well, but AU never gave the confluences. So we're going to keep going forward, 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 boom. So where is it? Hold on a sec. I'm gonna go back here a second. I might have skipped about something. Supposed to come up. Let's go here. I'll check it. Start from here. Which day is this? Tuesday. Boom. Cool. Okay, yeah. Let's see. Give it a sec. Should be here. Supposed to be here. Okay, it didn't come up with this one here. Now, obviously, I've got to double check that why that didn't come up. I've been doing a lot of coding, people. I kid you not. But the entry was right here where it did come up before. I've done, like I've said, I've done about 400 versions of this indicator. So you have to forgive me if anything is moving a bit funny. But the entry was right here. This is where it's supposed to come up. And this would have been an A grade setup here. It would have appeared. Again, straight away after the Zoom call, I'm going to show you and I'm going to go back, take a screenshot. But if you do see some of the screenshots in my group here, there's definitely some type of line of coding when I've done the last one. Obviously, I can't code and go back and check every single trade to make sure in one go. That takes obviously time. But give me a second. I'll just show you just so I can prove it, so people don't think, oh no, he's lying. He's selling me something I don't want. Why is he lying to me? Why is he lying? Give me a second, people. All right, cool. Uh, share screen, Telegram. All right, cool. You should be able to see my group here, and you can see Euro USD here. This is when I was adding the Confluence list, telling people, and then boom, you can see on that candle there at 6 o'clock, we had an A grade trade. Can you see? So I'm just going to go back and check that over as well. But you get the point of it. So that gave me an A grade trade for an A grade sell setup on Euro USD. Do you understand? So, and that was at 6 o'clock on Tuesday, right there. I've managed to actually get the entry from earlier, and I'll explain that to you again in the next video using the trading view free indicator. That's what I said. That one can get us even sniper entries, and I would have loved to be able to add that to the indicator, but because it takes raw data from the market, in it's like TradingView have they've basically limited it to only them being able to use it. You basically need to have maybe a certain type of coverage to be able to use it in terms of access to the market. Boom. But yeah, you see it, James. So you get the point of it, yeah. So boom. So this was the A grade entry from here. So let's just go back to here. So let's go back to here for the sake of the video. Again, I know that if this one pops up with an A, then most of the other setups should pop up with an A as well. It should be an A or a B, but I'll go and I'll check that after the Zoom call, like I said. Boom, boom, boom. So it'll be the alerts. There's three things I've got to check. I've got to check the pricing with this, the alerts, and this. But I'll do the pricing first, and then this, and then the alerts after, because the alerts are new. So we've got to get the pricing sorted here first, and then make sure the confluences are in check. But if this pops up with an A, any other pair that has the same confluences should pop up with an A. Long story short. All right, cool. So here, boom. So look at this now, guys and girls. So this is what the indicator gave us for an entry point. Again, unfortunately, I can't add the other piece because TradingView own that, or they have the access to the market that gives you that data. But I'll talk about that in the next video just for the users of this product, so you don't have to worry about that. Cool. We actually got our entry around here on the Tuesday, so we were actually much further up here. Yeah, cool. But it still gives us a very nice entry we've got in here. Now let's pay attention to this, guys and girls. Boom, boom, boom. Give me a sec. Where is it? Short and long tool I'm looking for. Short tool. All right, cool. So now let's base this on what we've got here. We've got our entry point at 115. So let's just even do it like this so I can do it with you guys and girls. So you can see how the logic of it is for yourself. So obviously, imagine you're typing this in your phone right now once you learn how to read this table better. So our entry point is 1157. Sorry, 115756. 5, 6. Boom. So that's our entry point. Our stop loss level here, we've got our stop loss, which is the breakout stop loss. Remember, you got to pay attention and use your brain when you're doing this as well, people. That's what I said. The strategy you don't have to worry about because it's telling us when to enter. Remember, it would have told us A here. So we already know this is an entry. You don't have to worry about trades. You don't have to worry about strategy. You just got to worry about risk management. Do you understand? Because there's no way to have perfect risk management, if that makes sense. The market's it could do a 50 pip move before it gives you a trade. It could do a 30 pip move. There's no way to get a specific every single time. It's always going to give you a 10. The candle's only ever going to move 10 pips. It's impossible for us to work that out. That's why as well we have three different versions of entry, stop loss, and take profits. You understand? It's literally impossible. So here, so obviously if you do the breakout entry, it's telling you your take profit is around here. So your stop loss is around here, which is 158.40. Now, you can enter a trade like this, but you got to be a bit smart, people. Let's just be realistic. This is an 8.9 pip stop loss. Yeah, that's nice if the market wants to move from there as soon as you have your entry, but it's an 8.9 pip stop loss, people. We're in this game to win. Unless you're going to be taking like 15 trades a week or 30 trades a week, you don't want an 8.9 pip stop loss. You understand? It doesn't really make sense, and I'm sure we can all understand that. Now, if we look at the next stop loss, which will be the retest stop loss, let's look at that. So the retest stop loss is still going to be the same because the retest is just a retest to the middle of this line. So again, it's going to be the same exact thing. It's not really going to make sense for us to have that stop loss because it's still going to be 8.9 pips basically. Yeah. Or around 9 pips. Now we're going to go to the next one, which is 16022. Yeah. So 16022. Boom. So 16022 is here. There, boom. Yeah. So this is it. So remember, I could have put these values in here. I just moved it to make it quicker. But I put that value there. You can see this one here is going to say 16022. Yeah. And then our take profit level will be here. Where's our take profit? Yeah, profit level. So our profit level, we obviously want a 3R and we want the best one because this is the best entry. We want it to be 1 to 3 because we entered here. So we entered here, used a stop loss from the best entry. So we got a bigger stop loss because it doesn't make sense having a 9 pip stop loss, literally, unless you're trading the lower time frames. You don't remember this is a 4 hour chart. You don't want a 9 pip stop loss. So remember, sometimes that box is not going to be 9 pips. It could be a 20 pip breakout box, 30 pip. But obviously, there's no way of me controlling how big the FVG is to give you one perfect stop loss take profit entry. It's not possible, people. This is not possible. I'm trying, but it's not possible to do that. So again, you have to learn. The only thing I have to teach you is risk management. So boom, you can see here. So obviously, we took the breakout entry. We've took the safer stop loss because this is the breakout, the best entry stop loss, BE. Yeah. And now we want to get, because we're using that, we want to get the best risk to reward. Yeah. Jack Black, you're writing on the screen. Yeah. Now we want to use the best take profit to give us a nice take profit level. So let's use here. So we can see here. Boom. Let's do this. Where's the take profit? Sorry. 114618. Boom. So now that gives us a huge take profit level. Yeah, huge. This is a 4.28 trade here. Boom. Let's just do this. Do this here. Boom. So we could do that. So you've got a 4 risk to reward. Oh, this is set on 6R. That's why. Let's change this. I forgot to change this back to 3. So it should change this value here. Once it loads, there you go. Boom. So 51522. So you can see, obviously, it gets smaller. So now this is a thing. Pay attention to this, people. Pay attention. Obviously, you want to give yourself a certain trade. Remember, as soon as the trade appears, we've got time to enter value. You don't have to, it's not a signal that you've just got to enter in 1 second. Sometimes the market will move that fast, but it's a 4 hour entry here. You've got time to work it out and you've got all the values in front of you here. So what I will do now is I can see that this is not giving me a 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 if it's there. That's fine because remember, I'm mixing and matching. The entry for the best entry will be up here, 15821. Look at it, 15821. So if it's 15821 around this level, yeah, if it's 15821 around that level there, boom, around there, yeah. This, if it gives me this entry here, if this is where I put it, remember, I could have set this as a pending order, set it literally as a pending order. Now you can already see that if I'm going to here, 522. Now you can see how it's giving me the correct risk to reward. So it depends. If you start mixing and matching, you got to get a bit creative because obviously it's not working out the manual. Listen to my words, the manual mixing and matching you're doing. It's not gonna work that out. But if you just stick to the set ones, this one, and this one, and any of these, it will give you your one to 1R, 1 to 2R, 1 to 3R based on this and this, or this and this, or this and this. Do you understand? But if you want to mix and match, you got to get a little bit more creative of how you do it. So if you want your 1 to 3R, it already tells you there, boom, straight away. So from the best entry, that's what you get. And you could have put a pending order on that from the close of this candle. Literally like that. You could put your stop loss, your take profit, and sorry, your stop loss, your entry, and your take profit. And there you go. That's your 1 to 3R. And then what do we see the market doing? Boom, right there. I kid you not, people. Now, it might seem like this is just a replay mode, and I'm just saying this to try and show you the best trades. I'm really not, people. If I'm lying, anyone in the group can show you. This is the exact same trade I gave out before, the exact same trade I told people this is what we're looking for because it's what's appeared. And it's the exact same trade that hit this take profit level like this. Even while the trade was running, I posted it whilst I was creating the indicator to show people this is exactly what you're looking for, guys and girls. No word of a lie. It's just as simple as that. The only thing that was missing from this explanation of this video is this would have said A grade trade or at least minimum a B grade trade, but would have said A grade. But it's because I was adding C and D. I think something's gone wrong with the code. It was like the last things I was doing at 6 a.m. in the morning, 5 a.m. in the morning, just to get the indicator out and so people could test it. But it will be there, guys and girls. It literally will be there for you, and I'll sort that out. So it literally gave you the grade of trade. And what I'm looking at currently, as it stands, is A plus trades and A trades, and any type of possibly B trade. So it'd be between A to B. I'm not really looking at C and D as it stands, but they can be things that maybe we waited all week and the trade hasn't appeared, but then it finally breaks out on Wednesday. So by Thursday, it's giving us a C or a D. Then I'll be able to tell you guys and girls, look, this is a trade that I'd be looking at. Or you could post it in the group. That's the whole point of the group. You can say, oh, look at this C grade trade or B grade trade. What do you think? And then I can go even check the pair, anyone else. But I personally, this is my minimum requirement here. It needs to have a bearish daily, it needs to have a daily IFVG, whether it's bearish or bullish. If it doesn't have this as a minimum requirement, then I'm not looking to take the trade set up. Literally, and I've already set that C grade trades. Minimum, it will only appear if this has got a daily IFVG. And I believe D grade trades even do the same thing as well. Literally, I believe so, pretty sure. So, but I'm sure, but I know for a fact C grade does do that. I've got to check it because there's many variations. Spider diagram, imagine. It's a lot to keep in your mind. But I will obviously, anyone can ask me questions and I'll be able to confirm that with them. I'm very vocal. I'm not a quiet mentor. Yeah. So I can confirm that with you. Can you show us a live example? I can't show you a live example because the market is like 7 o'clock at night at the moment. So it's 7 o'clock here. Maybe it's a bit earlier for you, but it's 7 o'clock. There ain't no market. And the market hasn't moved as well, by the way. So it's not possible because a live example would be a scalp trade. That's the only thing you can show. It hasn't done it. Remember what I've already explained to you guys and girls. This is the daily time frame I wait for. Some people might not be able to hack it, but I'm not going to change my trading strategy that works to please people. I know it might sound a bit rude, but that's just the reality of it. If it's working and it's simple and this is telling you when to find it, why are you stressing? Do you know what I mean? So I've got no problem with live trading as well. I'm not saying I won't. 100%. If a trade appears, I could easily show you a live example, but I got to wait for a daily IFVG and the market's almost closed. So if there's nothing there, and even if I enter the trade, it's not going to go, 20 or 30 pips in profit at the moment. Because again, it's a 4 hour daily and weekly that we're looking at, mainly 4 hour daily. It's not going to do anything, is what I'm trying to tell you. So yeah, boom. So that is that trading setup. That's why I took EU, and that was my winner for the week, my big winner for the week, literally like that. There were obviously other pairs that did things when I looked at them. So when we go over to GU, you'll see it. So this is what I'm saying. Sometimes in a week, it's going to be a quiet week. We might want to risk a B grade trade or a C grade trade between B and C because we can already see that it's looking like a quiet week. No A's are coming up between the majors. Remember, I really suggest you just trade the majors, people, if you're going to trade currency pairs, because there's literally 3 weeks out of the four, they're going to do some type of good move. You understand? Give you some type of trend. There's 1 week where they kind of do an accumulation, but you never know if it's going to be the first week of the month, second week, third week. It just depends with them. But this is why we wait for stuff like IFVGs because that gives us an indication that they're breaking out now. So yeah, boom, let's go here. There's no other problems. If you ask me a question or you want me to check anything, I've got no problems doing that, people. Like I said, I'm trying to be as transparent as possible and showing you that it does work. It literally does work. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see when the graded trade comes in. Boom, 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 boom. So you got a D grade trade here. Yeah. So now from this D grade trade, this is what I'm saying. But you can see why it's a D grade trade. There's only this one here. Now, this is why I do this, you'll see, guys and girls, this is a little thing I do. And I had it at first. So I'm going to change this back to uh, tiny. And I want to switch this one back on. There we go. Oops. Annotate. Yeah. Close this. Now, this is why I did this, guys and girls. So I have two of the indicator. Remember, you can add two to your chart. You don't only have to have one. So I've got one on the medium mode and one on the aggressive mode. So me having these two, now I can see the bearish IFVGs and the bullish IFVGs. Sorry, I can see the IFVGs and I can see the break of structures. So it can give me an indication whether or not the C or the B grade trade is actually strong, because it came out with a D grade sell. And what do I see here? So let's just move this. Boom. It came out with a D grade sell 1 bar ago. I can see that's only got a 4-hour bearish IFVG. The daily's still bullish. So that's why part of the reason why it's obviously a lower grade. It's not the best. Yeah. Boom. But now what we can see is that the weekly time frame, yeah, has literally created a bearish weekly break of structure 3 weeks ago. So think about it technically. It's gone bearish in week one. It's obviously done some type of pullback week two, yeah. And this could be the continuation of the week three. Not often does it just move in one direction, as we know. It does a move, creates a lower high, and then sells again. So this could be the breakout of the weekly time frame. And it's given us a 4-hour break of structure and a 4-hour IFVG break to give us the definition that, hey, this could be a sell. Because we have the table lining up, it works between both of these tables, the confluences. Because this is lining up like this, so we can see there's at least two identifications of structure and at least one IFVG. Do you understand? So the fact that it's given us at least one IFVG and two breaks of structure, this is why we got a D grade trade. That's how it works. It breaks down what's breaking down this, and there's other elements added to it, but this is the main core elements of this. So the confluence list. So we can see straight away that this is telling us, boom, hey, we could start to look for a sell trade setup. Sometimes you might get a sell trade setup, yeah, for a certain thing, but this doesn't look great or this doesn't look great. So in terms of how many there are there, so you could say to yourself, hey, I'm not going to take that trade. This is why I have two. I might be able to put this in one chart as well, but I didn't want to mess up the coding. That's why I didn't do that. But I just have two for now. Not for the confluence, just so I can see the break of structure and I can see the signals as well at the same time. Yeah. Boom. So now we can tell that based on a weekly time frame, it's bearish. Based on the 4 hours bearish, but we can clearly see that this, look, you can literally see it here, guys, and go, how funny is that? I'm not even just talking. You can see this was weak. This was the sell. So it's 10 bearish. Yeah. Boom. Here. Then it's done a pullback. So this pullback is here. Let me just maximize it for you. You can see it. Let's do this. This is this. Move this. Yeah. This is literally it. The same thing I just drew. Can you see? So you're literally seeing it. Boom. And then, oops. And this is here. So let's see what happens. So this could be the continuation of that weekly sell, as you can see. The weekly, the pullback, yeah. So it's closed, bearish, boom. Now the week is telling you that this is the pullback. This is why it's green here. It's literally even showing you here the colors, and look at the color changing candles. It's almost identical, literally almost. And now here, boom, it's telling us it's going back bearish. And then from there, boom, you got a trade set up. So look here again. I'm gonna do this one for you, just so you can see it. Everyone can see it clearly. Boom, there you have your trade set up here. What you're gonna do, you're gonna get your short and long tool. Yeah, remember this is replay mode, so it's moving faster. The candle obviously moves slower unless it's a massive impulsive move. You've entered here. Let's go for our stop loss take profit. So entry here at this level. which is pretty much there, 270, that is, but I've got 269, pretty much the same thing. And our take profit is going to be, it's going to be above this. Sorry, I keep saying take profit. Our stop loss is going to be above this box. So this is 31435. So you can see there 31449. So it's pretty much the same thing there. Yeah. And our take profit is going to be free. So we're looking for 30775, 30, which is here. Boom. So this is already giving us a 2.7R if we've got in that trade there. Now I can see that this looks like a pretty nice trade. Remember, this is, for me, this is a small trade the way it is because I'm used to price moving it. So I might even say, okay, this is too small for me. I want to go bigger. This is technically how I do most times. Obviously, if you like to trade in and out, it's all up to you. It's all up to you. No, the profit's profit in the end of the day. I changed this to like, let's go 1 to 5. Try and get a 1 to 5 R trade. Wait for it to load. I did the wrong mode. I think I did. Yeah, I did the wrong mode. That's why. Let's do 1 to 5. Boom. I'm going to answer your question in a second, my friend. Just waiting for this to change. Yep, it's changed 1 to 5. So it tells me 30445. 30445. There you go. Boom. There you go. So this is giving me almost a 1 to 5 trade. So remember, I did this rough. That's why it's not 1 to 5. I did it rough. But if you actually click on the tool and type the numbers in, it should be perfect. You know, pretty much so. Boom. And then now look. Boom. Take profit hit. 1 to 5 trade. Just so everybody knows, this is not cherry picking. These were live trades in the market last week. Yes, it is on replay mode, but these were live trades. I've got all the evidence in my group to show people there was trade setups that could appear, and there's proof of it beforehand. I know everybody that when this goes to YouTube, yeah, show us real, show us live. Anybody can do this. I understand. I've been trading for 6 years now. I don't need to use replay mode to try and sell a product, people. I literally do this live every day. And if you don't believe me, win or lose, I'm always there. Even if I lose for 4 weeks, I'm still there. All you have to do is message me, join the group, and you see it's very transparent. I've got no need not to be transparent. Makes sense now. Couldn't work it out when you posted it as all three didn't line up before. But okay. Yeah, yeah, okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I just made it so it's neater because if not, I didn't want it to be that it was like mad confusing. Do you understand? But the problem is you got to think if I do put this into one table, we can't have take profit levels based on both of these modules. Do you understand? So the only way for me to do that is to make the table again, not make the table again, but add this to the table, but then have a setting for a table. So you could have one, what one do you want to choose? So you could say, what table display do you want? So there's a strategy mode. Yeah. So I might even do that as well. Just put a strategy mode and then call that one mixed. So mixed, but mixed has to keep one of the levels. And when I say one of the levels, I mean one of the breakout entry, the retest, and this. It can't be mixed and then have all of these in there. It just can't. You understand? Because it's just too much coding. It's too much. It's going to be too confusing as well. So that's what I'm trying to say. That's why I made it just two separate tables, obviously, for myself, as in I just added two indicators. I added the indicator twice to my chart. One is on aggressive mode, one is on the other mode, and that way I can see it. That's what it is. It just saves a whole lot of time, literally. Rather than me trying to make some mad coding and merging it all together, it just makes just add two indicators, man. So yeah, boom. So that's it. So let me ask people: is there any questions first and foremost? Let me ask questions. Let me get questions answered. Sorry. Is there any questions? Remember, this is just the first Zoom call. It's just a rough. I'm just uploading it just to kickstart the thing. There's going to be loads of Zoom calls during the week of me showing this product and all of the pairs. I don't trade all the pairs, but yes, when I'm making Zoom calls, I have YouTube videos. I will be going through on YouTube showing, look, there was this setup, there was this setup, and there was that setup. You understand? I'm showing people how to trade. Any questions? Yeah, leave it. For now, you definitely have to until I check the if the numbers are working. Obviously, I'm going to post it in the group. If there is an issue, if there is an issue, I'll post it in the group. So just stick to the group and read the group. the Neo Reloaded VIP group. Um, but yeah, just leave it on the time frames it's on at the moment because that's the one that where the performance works the best. It's literally just that. It's literally just that, people. It's literally just that. So you got the pairs. Let's go to gold now. Gold is actually buying. I'm actually in this buy in gold. I'm actually in this buy here. I was telling everyone from last week it could buy as well. But what I didn't do on gold is I didn't wait for the 4 hour to have a bullish IFVG. It never had a bullish IFVG. It was still bearish when I was trying to catch these golds here towards the end of the week. And then as soon as it did create one, it created one. Where did it create one? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, it created one here. So it finally did break it. It finally did break it. It created one here. And it broke this FVG. What is it? It did break. Created one. There was one here somewhere. There was one here somewhere that I saw it broke anyway, because it wouldn't be bullish if it didn't. It says 7 bars ago. So let's see. So it was this, it was one of these, yeah, it was this candle here. So it was somewhere here, obviously. It broke it. I think it was here. Yeah, there you go. It was very small. That's why the smaller ones, it was here. Boom, it was like tiny. Boom. So it broke a bullish IFEG. Then obviously they've done the little end of market trap buyers with a sell. That's what they did. Anyone that tried to get in on that breakout. You see? Boom. But remember, look at it. This already shows you how ridiculous it is even trying to find the buy because look at the bars ago. This is why this is a great table. So even trying to get a buy, you're trying to get a buy in the trade, but nothing's fresh, nothing's new. That was the only one that popped up as something new. And this is why you saw the pullback here. Do you understand? Because again, it's like it's fighting. You can clearly see, even though it's all bullish, both parts, it's been bullish for a long time. So it needs a kickstart. And that first FVG was a kickstart. So now what you're going to see it start to do is when it's done this, then let's just go over to the daily time frame. There we go. So you can see it here. So here's an example. So once it breaks here, now you can see it's going to create a bullish IFEG. And then now you can start to see this table lighting up. So we can start to get grades of trades and entries. So it could break out, pull back, continue, basically. Do you understand? Literally. But you can already see what happened here. We had a daily lower high. So yeah, you was in a daily lower high. I think John J, I'll call you JJ, mate. Sorry. Yeah, you were saying that it was here. So yeah, even this identified it after this second candle closed as a lower high. So that's what happened. And then another thing, this was another thing why I said I like the higher highs and the lower lows and that. When I was trying to buy it, I was trying to buy it all here. But look, it coming off a 4 hour lower high. The daily was a lower high as well. So we had to wait for at least minimum before you go and buys for a lower low. Or if you want to be better, look here. So this would have appeared here. When this candle closed, as you can see, just to show people so they can understand when the structure appears would have appeared by that second candle. So this gives you a better chance. So this already shows you when, hey, if you're just using it, boom, 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 boom. There you go. See, so when this candle opened, sorry, this candle closed, this one opened. Now you could have got back in your buy trade setups based on this. You can see this here, based on the bullish IFEG. Can you see? So you can see it was still bullish there. So but you're only trading this buy based on this new 4 hour bullish IFVG. It's not the strongest. You understand? But it was at least something, is what I'm trying to tell you. Something to identify. So structure told you on a 4 hour you had a higher low, external. So this is stronger market structures telling you that we're starting to build an uptrend. So this was one of my errors, but remember I was coding at the time, but this was one of my errors literally here is not paying attention to these structure points. I remember this is not based on everything on Neo. That's just me knowing how to trade gold, just looking at the market. But one thing I just misled is I didn't look at it properly or misread, sorry, not misled, misread, was looking just for external structure points. It's totally, I was trying to all get in the trade before any higher lows or lower lows had been formed. So I'm basically trading in the middle, and that's what happened. So I managed to make my money back anyway, but look here, boom. And then now, obviously, we have what we see now, which is this. Clear as day, people. Yeah. Um, does BOS flash once happens? Yeah, yeah. Of course it does, mate. So here we haven't had no BOS yet, that's why, but Right now, all these arrows, that's another thing as well, just so you know. Hold on. Just so you know, all these arrows are, that's one thing I didn't go over here. Just, so boom. If you set the chart to BOS mode, then these arrows are going to show you where all the breakup structures are, as you can see. Yeah, but if you set it to IFVG mode, it's going to show you where all the IFVGs were, literally. That's what it should show you. Should show you that. I only kind of figured that out literally after, because it was like when I changed the modes, then it automatically changed that as well to make the coding correct. You understand? So yeah, basically the IFEG one might not be the most accurate. I might have to look into that one a bit more, but the BOS one 100% is accurate because I've had that for like 4 different indicators. It's there. So the BOS, it shows you literally here as well, and then boom, here was the BOS right here, as you can see. And you can see it was 23 bars ago. So if you go from here to where it did happen, should be pretty much 23 bars. There you go. 22 showing you. So it's there. Right there to there. Can you see? Literally. So it's showing you where. So this is why it's been bullish for the buy, but now it's indecision. So you're trading. So the only way for you to trade this without even using Neo, you got to pinpoint where market structure is forming. And this was a kind of definition here from the higher low, as you can see, that form there. So you would have done anything like that. But you can see price broke the trend line here and then create the lower low. And then now you'd have to reset yourself again for the next higher low to form, which as we can see is forming. So price is going up in an uptrend right now. But yes, it does do that, my friend. If you go here, just to show you, random bar select. This is the only way you can do some type of lives. I just got to make sure the Confluence list is correct at the moment. But look here. Just so you can see, look, it's changing the BOS there. Can you see? So it moves, just so you can see. So it tells you when the breakup structure happens. Let's see if we get A grade come up. If you got any questions, get them out of the way now. I just want to see if an A grade trade comes up. If it doesn't appear, then I know something's wrong somewhere. But you can see that you saw a lot of B, C, and D, and you saw price was buying as well, by the way. So it's literally telling you, it's literally scanning and telling you what's what. See, look at that. That was a B grade. Let's go to the B grade then. I think something's wrong with the A. Pause. Whoop, whoop. Stop your horses. Stop your horses. Where are you going? All right, let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go before this buy here. I've got to double check the A grade trades. I'm going to check that first. I'm going to check the Confluence list before I check the numbers of the stop loss and take profit. What's the question? Got a question? A few A's in there. Did you see A's? I didn't see no A's. You see A's? What's going on here? What the hell? Let's come back. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, people. I had a phone call. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go before this buy. See what happened. Oh, damn. We're gonna have to go. We're just gonna have to random bar it again because it dropped. Hold on. Random bar. There we go. Look at that. Irony. Let's just see. Okay, yeah, we are. All right, cool. That's perfect. Um, go here. Let's go before here. Cool. Let's just make the screen bigger. Is it me? Okay, why isn't the Confluence the one down here coming up? That's weird. Sorry, people. I was looking at both of them, but the bottom one wasn't flashing. So that's why I was looking at the bottom one. C's. A's. I think it's appearing in replay mode. That's really weird. Really, really weird. All right, let's go here. Let's base it off of the C anyway. So I think it's replay mode. Let's go out. Flash in. Let's see if I fast forward it. What happens? Okay, we had a B there. Okay, let's go in this C. But no C is definitely showing up. Let's go there. Give me a second, people, just to show you entry. Obviously, it's going really fast, so you have to bear with me. Okay, C. Boom. Daily IFVG. All right, cool. So here again, you're going to have your levels. Long. This one here, I wouldn't say, obviously, you can see straight away it's not the best trade. One, this is again where I have the marker points. It's at a higher high in it, but let's just see anyway what happens here. Okay. You obviously want it to be off a higher low or a lower low. It's giving you an entry. Let's just see here. Boom. Pretty much there you go. So pretty much TP has been hit. Yeah, it was hit there. Boom. Can you see? And that was a C grade trade. Obviously, I'm going to look into that now. This is just so you guys and girls have a rough understanding. At least you understand the product a little bit better now rather than just having it and being like, okay, what am I looking at here? But I definitely will. I'm going to look at this Confluence list first to make sure everything's all right. But yeah, boom. You can see straight away. As you can see, wonderful. You saw this grade came up with a C grade trade, just to show you again, guys and girls, so you can see that the Confluence list is working. I've just got to make sure the grades are correct, but it is working. You can see here, boom, you had a C grade trade and a D. You can have a C and a D. And we can see from this, boom, the break of structure. So why would you not be looking for a buy here? Your break of structure on the 4 hour and the daily is telling you it's bullish. You've got a daily, a 4 hour bullish, you've got a 4 hour IFVG bullish and a daily IFVG bullish. The only thing that I could say that is not the greatest thing at this is that prices obviously already bought up quite a lot and you're buying at a higher high rather than you're buying lower, at least a higher low. So that's the only thing I could say. But if you move it forward just a little bit, again, boom, take profit here. So higher low is like here. Can you see? As soon as the higher low formed, it gave it a little bit more easier structure and then bought. That's the only thing I could say that was a bit awkward about that one. And remember, I'm looking at it from a 4 hour perspective. If you were scalping, when did it give you the entry like here in it? If you were scalping, you would have still been able to get in here, and this was still 160 pips for gold. It's like 1,600 points, but it's 160 pip buy. So you literally on the Friday could have caught a quick scalp of that buy, but based still on these time frames. This is why I kind of tell people that I can't see what's the point in going lower apart from trying to get a smaller stop loss. But the stop loss wasn't exactly that huge on here. Do you understand? Unless you're trying to get a 10 pip stop loss, it wasn't huge, but you still could have got an easy 1-to-1 trade just off of the table telling you look for a buy setup. Does everyone get my point when I'm saying that? Like that is the point of this overall, is that this is going to be able to tell you, look for a buy. Yes, if you want to take 20 pips from the trade, take 20 pips. You don't have to take 60 pips. You understand? It's whatever, but make money. If it's making you money, if you're making £100 a day off of finding a C or B grade trade, and you're taking maybe one L here, but then two wins, well, we haven't really got a problem here, is what I'm trying to explain to people. You can make money that way if you want to. I trade it the way I want to use it, and the way I use it gives you, that's what's supposed to be the A plus and the A. But if you want to get quick scalps, then you can start going towards B, C, and D trades. But there's no need to change the time frame. So I'm telling you, these B, C, and Ds, they pretty much happen often. Look, again, I'm going to put it in play mode, and you're going to see how many times B, C, and D flash. Remember, these gray horizontal lines are, sorry, these gray vertical lines are every week. Yeah. So you can see, look, again, there was a C for a possible sell trade. You can see, again, D for little buys. Again, C. Maybe that one would have been a loss there. There was a C trade here for possible little sells. C for buys. Can you see D? So I want you, can you see what I'm trying to show you now, guys and girls here? That how many times, like, just, I know it's running a bit slow because it's trying to run this there. I don't know why it's running slow. But you can see even when it came out with that C, that was a huge C. But just look straight away. You didn't have to do nothing. The chart just told you. Look at that C sell. So you'd have got a little sell there, a little scalp around that point. D buy. If you've got in this buy still holding. You've got a nice little buys up going up here. There you go. This was a B grade trade for this huge buy that came up here. Can you see? Yeah, and this is just gold. I remember I've still got to possibly refine it. Okay, we had an A there. So an A appear here. I don't know what this one was. This 2012. There was an A here. Yeah, this is just gold. So we've got that. There was another B, C. You can see what I'm saying. Remember, so I'm trying to tell you that there's no need. This is what I'm trying to tell you. A lot of people always ask me, can you scalp? Can you do this? But there's literally, look, you can see it's moving mad. There was an A that came up with that sell that happened there. Obviously, a lot of people ask me all the time, can you scalp? Can you do this? Can you with the trade? But I'm like, there's no need for you to change time frames, especially with this. If I've given you four different types of trades, or five, is it? Yeah, it's five different types of setups. All you have to do is look for C and B, C and D. Like, there's no way in a month you're not gonna, or let's say even in a week, you're more than likely gonna win two of them, and maybe you lose one. Do you understand? That's what's gonna happen. It's just not because, come on, man, how many 4 hour FVGs, sorry, 4 hour IFVGs are they gonna break? Every one of them, these have to read with at least a 4 hour IFVG. How many of them are they gonna break? They're not gonna break 17 of them in 1 week. Do you understand? So literally, as long as you got your risk to reward right, yeah, you're gonna be fine. You're not gonna have an issue. And at least it just tells you when to look for a trade setup. So again, there's gonna be more Zoom calls. Again, this was more about just showing people the elements of the product. I'm gonna go over another Zoom call again with a better idea of the Confluence list. The Confluence list is there for you to be able to enter a trade already. Like I said, we need to wait for A plus and A. That's what I'm waiting for before I enter a trade. If you want to back test it yourself, you can and go and check things out. Of course, that's why you've got it now and all the stuff like that. And just keep it simple. Any other questions before I go? Because this is already coming up to 2 hours almost. It's got to go on YouTube, and we already know no one's going to watch the video for 2 hours on YouTube. Probably going to get 30 people. Anybody? I'm still. Yep. All right, cool. So again, hopefully this was a good introduction video. That's no problem at all, people. There's going to be many more videos. I don't want nobody to stress about, okay, I'm still confused or anything like that. There's going to be many more videos. Just play around with it for now. Let me just make sure the Confluence list is right as well. Like I said, it's not wrong in the sense where it's giving you the wrong direction of a trade. It's just not probably giving you the right strength at the moment from what I can see. So I need to just pay attention. But it's still giving you, if it's gray for, if it's bearish, it's bearish. It's still going to give you a trade setup. And most of them are going to be good. Obviously, some are going to lose. And that doesn't matter if it's between D and A. Obviously, A plus is supposed to be the best. A is supposed to be the second best, in it. And then B is like the 50-50. let's just say with a 60-40. But I've just got to double check that quickly now. I'm going to work on that one first before I work on the numbers for the price, because anyone can work out a stop loss and a take profit. Again, that's really only there for beginners. The stop loss and take profits levels, if you traded long enough, I'm sure you're pretty much confident of saying, this looks like a good entry, this looks like a good stop loss level. And when I've made enough money, I'm getting out of the market, let alone a specific 1 to 3 or something like that trade, 1 to 2. Yeah, all right, let's leave it there, guys and girls. I hope you all had a good time, and we'll get it cracking. I'll get it finished as soon as possible. But like I said, I'm going to go straight to the Confluence list and make sure it's working and update you in the group. Cool, cool, cool. All right, take care, people. All right, bye.